Welcome to the Entrepreneur Insider Secrets podcast. Excited to spend some time with you again today, talking about things that are important to you as an entrepreneur, to starting and growing your business and moving yourself forward and just being able to grow yourself in this space of doing the thing that you love. And today we're going to be talking about something that may be a little bit of a tender subject. It's about the cost of staying small and what playing it safe is really costing you. And this is something that when you're first getting started is absolutely a factor. When you first get started in your business, if you're like most people, you have great dreams, right? You have great dreams. I am going to change the world. I'm going to create this highly successful business. I am going to build amazing things and people are going to sign up and be a part of my business. And there's going to be all of this financial abundance. And there's going to be all of these amazing success stories. And there's going to be incredible things that come out of all this. And yet when you start going down this path, you realize is that there's a lot of risks involved in making this happen. And there's a lot of things that need to go on. There's a lot of things that need to happen in order for you to get there. And, you realize, okay, I need a website because I need a place for people to find me. I need a place for people to be able to know who I am. I'm going to need, I'm going to build a course. So, okay, I take a lot of time to build a course. Or I figure out my coaching program, or I need to create an offer and create a sales page, and I need to create all the materials and things that go around and go along with all of this stuff that needs to be a part of it. And there's all of these tasks that end up being involved, and you have these dreams of what you want to do, but you can then get so wrapped up in the world of, well, now I need to do this. And now I need to do that. And now I need to make sure I have all these things because, this already established business already over here, they already have all that. So I need to make sure I have all that too. And even though I'm just getting started. And the reality of what ends up happening is that you get stuck in the mode of preparing. You get stuck in the mode of getting everything together. And what ends up happening is you end up having to spend some money. I have to pay to get a website. I have to pay to, have an email list so that people can sign up to receive communication. I have to pay for whatever other services that I'm using throughout all this. And it becomes a little bit of an expense, and you're still building. You're still putting all the pieces in place. You're still putting all of the stuff together. And it's still, you start to get into, whoa, I got to manage the expenses here. I'm starting to burn through money, and I'm starting to, I haven't gotten to the point where I'm bringing in much revenue yet. I'm not doing a lot on the income side because I'm spending all my time building and preparing and getting everything set. And that's costing me a lot of money. And so I get the mindset of, I need to play it kind of small. I need to start, making sure I'm not spending any money on anything that I don't need to. And so the mindset becomes really one of like, how do I reduce costs? How do I stay small? How do I keep the bills down? Because I'm not making any money yet, or I'm making just a little money, but I'm not making a lot. And I need to be able to keep this expense low. So you become have this mindset developed of staying small. I got to keep things small. I got to keep the bills down. I can't take on anything extra. I can't do anything extra because I got to keep this little. And what that kind of becomes after a while is a mindset. It becomes a way of viewing your business, is that I have to reduce. I have to keep it small. I can't let things get too big. If I have any expense at all that's unnecessary, I need to make sure I get rid of it because I can't be spending that money. And it just becomes a way of viewing your business. But after a while, what ends up happening is you realize is that that's not why you started the business. You didn't start the business because you want to manage expenses. You didn't start the business because you wanted to stay small. You started the business because you wanted to do something significant that meant something that was near and dear to your heart. You wanted to do something that was significant, that you felt was really, really important to you. You wanted to do something that was going to not only change the lives of others, but also change your life and work on things that you're passionate about, things that you love to do, not doing work for someone else and getting yanked around by the chain of all of their needs and demands. You wanted to be able to chart your own course. But in the preparation and the building and the putting things together, the mindset shifted. It went from I'm going to grow and I'm going to do all these amazing things to I need to play it safe. I need to keep the bills down. I need to stay small so that I don't lose more money, so I don't have more expenses. And what that does is it starts to cost you. That's really my first point today. My first point today is that playing it safe costs you growth and momentum. When you are focused on keeping the bills down, keeping the things down, keeping all of your costs down while you build, you're not focused on growing anymore. You're not focused on how do I get clients? How do I grow this thing? How do I bring in revenue? And you see, there are two very different mindsets going on in all this. And it's easy to get caught in this trap. And the trap is I need to go out and I need to keep all of my expenses down because I need more time to work on my website. I need more time to build my course. I need more time to write my book. Or, fill in the blank, whatever it may be for you. We all have our things that we're constantly tweaking. And here's the reality. For some people, they are redoing their course for the third and fourth time. For some people, they're redoing their website for the fourth or fifth time. For some people, they are working on their third or fourth book. For some people, they're constantly in preparation mode. They're constantly thinking about, well, I should have this and I should have that. And as a result, they're focused on preparing all the time. But in the preparing mode, you have to stay small because you're not in the growing mode. You're in the mode of, I just need to get ready. I need to get ready. I need to get ready. And yet, at the end of the day, how many revisions do you need to do to everything? How many times do you need to redo your site or your course or your books when you only have a handful of people reading them and buying them anyway? It's not necessary to work on perfection when you don't yet have the audience. You need a really good product. Don't get me wrong. I don't want you to just half-ass it and throw something out there that's really poor. But there comes a point in time where you get into this mindset of, oh, now I need to add, or now I need to revise. Now I need to rework. And, in the meantime, I could do all this. I could stay on it. And as long as I keep my bills down, I can make this work and I can keep going. And I'm staying busy. I'm working on things. I'm doing things. I'm staying busy. I'm doing all the things that I feel like need to be done. But the one thing that you're not doing is growing. The one thing you're not doing is bringing in new clients and having other people that you work with, having other people come into your business, and so that you can help change their life, so you can help them solve their problems, so you can make their lives better, so you can have an impact on them. This is where we've kind of lost perspective on the game because we've realized that, and this is the honest truth, starting a business takes a lot of work. And especially if you want to have a website, you want to have a course, you want to have a coaching program, whatever it may be, all of these things have to be built. And when you're a solopreneur, when you're starting out by yourself, you don't have a team of people that can do all this stuff for you. When you are doing all this, you are at a point of like, hey, I'm doing this by myself. And every single task that has to get done, is being done by the person you stare at in the mirror every day. And so it becomes a lot, and it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of money, and it takes a lot of energy. And you can get stuck in that mode. You can get stuck in the mode of getting ready, instead of how do I grow? How do I grow? How do I grow? How do I get to the next level? How do I get to the point where I can have that confidence of I can do this. I can actually work with the things. I can work with the people I can help. Which brings me to point number 2. Staying small limits your impact on others. Now let's just be honest. Part of why each one of us starts our own business, part of why we begin this journey, part of why we do what we do is because deep down inside, we know that we have something that can help others. We know that we have something that can make a difference in their lives, that could really help them. We know when we see other people out in the world that are struggling with something, and we're like, I can help with that. I can make a difference in their lives. I could really move the needle for them. If I was given the opportunity, I could really be a difference maker for them in their lives. I could really cause their lives to be so much better. And maybe we're dealing with people who are just struggling with deep hurt and wounds in their life. Or maybe we're dealing with people who are just struggling to find their way. Or maybe people are trying to achieve a goal and they just can't ever quite get there because they're just missing certain pieces. And you know how to get them there. You know how to solve and heal these problems. And yet, by staying small, you're not impacting them. And because you're not impacting them, you're not having that sense of fulfillment in your life. You see, most of us, when we start doing a business like this, coaching, course creating, consulting, speaking, training, all of those types of things. When we start a business like this, it's because at some point in our life, we worked with someone. Maybe it was for free, maybe it was paid, whatever it may be. We worked with somebody in some capacity in our life, and we made a huge difference for them. We helped them break free. We helped them make a huge jump in where it is, where they're at and where they're going and what they want to do. And we saw it in them, and we saw the difference that we made for them. We saw the impact that we had on them. And inside of us, there was this deep sense of fulfillment, this deep sense of purpose, and this moment of clarity where we sat there and went, wow, if I could do this every single day, my life would be amazing. If I could get paid to do this, I'd be living the dream. I'd be living and doing exactly what I would want to do with my life. I would get up every day and be excited and cheerful and joyful that this is what I get to do. That this is my life now. This is the thing that I get to be involved in every day. And those moments, and we all have had that in some level of capacity, like, that what you did today was meaningful. That what you did today was powerful. That you made a huge difference. And that this wasn't the only person out there who has this problem. That there's a lot more people out there who are struggling with this very issue. Who are having these challenges, or having these moments where they really need help. And that you are very equipped to take care of that, to guide them, to help them, to walk them to where they want to get to. And yet, you're not reaching them yet. You're not working with them yet. Because you, as a part of growing your business and starting the business, adopted that safety mode. You adopted the stay small mode of, I can't take the chance, I can't risk things, I can't push too hard because I might not make it. I might not get there. And as a result, you pull back the throttle. But the other side of the coin is that now you're not working with the people that need you. You're not getting that fulfillment in your life. You're not having that moment where you're going, wow, I love my life. You're sitting there dealing with, okay, now I got to figure out how to update this page on the website. Now, and oh, I got to do another, revise this module in my course yet again, because I realized I really should have added this and said this instead of that, or whatever it may be. We can get stuck in these modes of doing this over and over and over again, to the point of we're always in get ready mode, where we're always focused on staying small. And again, when you started your business at the very beginning, when it was just a dream, when it was just an idea, your thought wasn't, how small can I be? Your thought was, how impactful can I be? How successful can I be? How amazing could this be? But in the middle of the journey here somewhere, we got locked into small thinking. We got locked into pulling back, not letting ourselves get hurt, because maybe you did go out and you tried to talk to a few people about helping them, and it didn't go as well as you'd hoped. You didn't get the yeses that you were hoping for. People just didn't fall out of the streets and say, let me sign up, I want to be your customer. And so it wasn't just the easy peasy pathway of getting clients. And that stung a little bit. That was discouraging, because it didn't just happen. Because when we grow our businesses, learning how to get clients is a little bit of a skill. It's not just, hey, I'm open for business, and the clients come running. Those days are long gone. That was like 100 years ago, when businesses were much more rare, and starting your own business was a much more unusual thing. Now people are starting businesses everywhere, and it's very easy to find someone who's providing a service or running their own little side hustle or running their own business. So it's not like somebody has to go out and hunt for people who can help them. So what you have to do is you have to learn the proper way of getting clients. You have to learn the proper way of marketing yourself, of positioning yourself, of explaining what it is that you do, so it's highly attractive to the person on the other side. But when you are first starting out, you may not know the right way to do that. You may not know the right way to position yourself, to communicate the value of what it is that you do, to show how you can make a difference in their lives, so that these people will want to become your customers. And as a result, you had a little bit of a struggle point in there. And as a result, you pulled back, because that wasn't joyful. That was a little bit painful. And that pain caused you to shrink a little bit. And it caused you to play it safe, because you didn't want to take a chance. You didn't want to risk it anymore, because you didn't want the pain. And now you're not pushing forward like you used to be. The dream has kind of gotten muted, and now you're just kind of staying busy because you don't want to let the dream go, but you also aren't quite ready to take the chance. And as a result, you're not getting the business to where it needs to be. You're not reaching the people that you need to reach. You're not impacting the lives the way that you were meant to. And ultimately, if this continues, and this is the third point for today, if this is allowed to continue, it's going to lead to a lot of regret. Here's the reality. Becoming an entrepreneur, starting your own business, doing these things, it's one of the biggest areas of growth that I've ever experienced in my life. I've said this many times in the past, but there are two main things that have caused me to grow as a person more than anything else. One was becoming a father. Having 3 little children, raising a family, boy, that pushed me on every level possible. I had to learn a lot to become a father, to learn how to raise children, to learn what it takes to be successful in that area. and made a lot of mistakes, made a lot of screw ups. But slowly but surely you learn, but you are forced to grow as a person. You realize you have to mature in a hurry because you now have little lives that are dependent on you, and you can't be screwing around and messing up because you got to take care of them. And so it forces this massive amount of growth in you as a person. The other thing that forced me to grow significantly in my life was starting my own business. When you work for another company, when you're working for someone else, there's always shared responsibility. And when a decision has to be made, you can honestly say, well, I can't make those decisions. That has to be made by my boss. So you need to go talk to them. And you can kind of pocket yourself a little bit and say, hey, my job is just to do X, Y, and Z. Beyond that, that's not my department. That's not my responsibility. And I don't have to take care of that. And I don't have to worry about all those things. But when you become an entrepreneur, all of those things are your responsibility. There is no boss that you can push off things to. There is no subordinate that you can shovel work to. There is no coworker that you say, hey, I don't want to do this. You do it. No. For most all of us who start off as a one-person show, it's you. You have to take it all on you. And there's going to be things that you're really good at and that are very natural for you to do. And there's going to be things that are a struggle that are not at all easy for you to do. And so it's going to force you to grow, or shrink back. You have a choice. But to get there, to really realize this dream that you have, which is entirely possible. It is, well, I know we're kind of taking a little bit of the sad side of the coin today, but I want to reemphasize it is 100% possible to get there without question, no doubt about it. But it requires courage, it requires commitment, and it requires growth. Because if you don't, what you end up with is a massive amount of regret, where you wake up one day and realize that the window is closing, that you're not going to be able to keep doing this forever. You're not going to be able to keep just working on preparing a business forever. At some point, something needs to happen, or you're going to have to fold it up. And then you have all this, and if you do, you're going to be living under a mountain of regret. And we think about this, this morning I was, it's a little bit of a sidebar here. I was on Facebook for a little bit and just seeing if there was anything that any of my family or friends had posted. And I had an old friend from school when I was young. When he went to my grade school, middle school, and high school with me. Wasn't super close with him, but I definitely knew him. I was friends with him when I was younger, in the early days. And then we kind of went our own ways as the years went by. But he posted this morning that, a really sad post that he is getting ready to go into hospice. And he's been a person that has battled and dealt with cancer for a number of years. I think, if I understand it correctly, I think this is his third bout with cancer. And sadly, the chemo and radiation are not doing the job this time. And so he's facing the reality that he's not going to beat back cancer on this round, that he's not going to be able to win this round, that he's going to have to face the reality that the end is here. And he's making those preparations and things. And it was just very, very sad because obviously he was in my grade. He was in very much my age. And here he is facing his mortality. And the reason I bring all of this up is when we sit in the mode of prepare, we're not always thinking about the fact that this window is not going to stay open forever. We are not going to have this opportunity forever to build a business. And the longer we delay, the longer we push it back, and the longer we keep playing it small, the shorter the window gets. And we don't know. We don't know how many more years we have. We don't know how much more time we have. Just like my friend from my childhood, He's facing, his mortality is now down to days because he's losing the battle with cancer. These are the things that why I'm telling you, and I want to encourage you to take a chance on yourself. Don't be focused on playing it small. Don't live in that mindset of I need to play small. I need to just keep it safe. I need to go there. And now again, I'm not saying be foolish. I'm not saying push yourself to places that are not wise and by taking unnecessary risks. What I'm saying is you can't be living your life playing so small that you never actually push yourself to grow, where you never get out there and work with the people that you were meant to serve, that you never helped the people that needed your help, that you were never able to impact their lives the way that you were meant to, and that you were never able to feel that daily sense of fulfillment, that what you're doing is meaningful, that what you're doing is powerful, and that your life had a distinct purpose to it. This is only going to come if you're willing to push past the small mindset. This is only going to come if you're willing to push yourself out into that space of being a little uncomfortable, of being a little bit like, okay, I may not be ready for it, but I'm completely ready for it, but I'm going to go for it anyway. To do that, we have to get out of prepare mode. We have to get out of, I'm just getting ready to get ready, or I'm going to revise and revise and revise. Everything doesn't have to be perfect, but you do need to be working with people for this to matter. You do need to be working with people for this to have the impact that it needs to have. So remember the cost of staying small. Remember what it can actually do if you don't push yourself to that point of growth where you're actually doing the things that you want to do. Staying small is going to keep you from living the dream. It's going to keep you from serving the people. It's going to keep you from having the impact, from having the fulfillment that you desire. It can be a little scary. As I said, one of the two most challenging, impactful things that I've ever had to do as a person is start my own business. It pushes you because you very much want to say, I'm not comfortable doing that. I don't want to do that. And yet you know that you need to do that. You need to put yourself out there. You need to ask that person to become your customer. You need to go put yourself out on social media and let people know who you are and what you do. You need to go out into these channels or do these different things. You need to reach out to people. You need to ask them to offer them your services to be able to make a difference in their lives. And that can be uncomfortable at times. But the truth is, it's only uncomfortable in the beginning. After you do it a few times, you start to learn. Okay, I don't do well with it like that, and that's not the way I want to do it. But if I do it like this, hey, that works really well for me. And that's a very comfortable place for me to do it, and a very comfortable way for me to do it. And so it can be highly, highly successful if I do it this way. But you don't get there unless you push yourself and you grow into that space. So I want to leave you with that today. And I want to, again, reemphasize that this is 100% possible. Growing your own business, being successful, having an amazing impact on people's lives, having an amazing, fulfilling life, is all well within your reach. It's all well achievable. But you're going to have to grow to get there. You're going to have to become a bigger and better version of yourself to live this life. So, with that being said, if there's anything that we can do to help you, please check out designlaunchgrow.com. We would love to talk to you. We would love to work with you. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you again in the next episode.